A political row has broken out in the United States after financier Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell in New York on Saturday. He was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges involving underage girls. Democrats have criticised President Trump for promoting unfounded conspiracy theories about Epstein's apparent suicide. The FBI and the US Justice Department have opened investigations into his death. Chris Buckler reports from Washington.
Jeffrey Epstein was once the man at the centre of high society parties and a figure instrumental in the abuse of underage girls. His death in a New York prison just weeks after another apparent suicide attempt has raised many questions. Some, including the city's mayor, have called it convenient, given the alleged involvement of some of his rich and famous friends. Among those retweeting conspiracy theories was Donald Trump.
And you know what? He had information on the Clintons, and the man ended up dead.
Who gave publicity to completely unsubstantiated allegations about another president, Bill Clinton, whose wife Hillary ran against him for the presidency.
This is another example of our president using this position of public trust to attack his political enemies with unfounded conspiracy theories.
Mr. Trump was himself at one time a friend of Epstein's. They were pictured partying together, but that was many years ago. And the president and the White House insist he's now concerned about getting to the truth about what happened at events Epstein organised in Florida and New York.
I think the president just wants everything to be investigated. And, trying to connect the president to this monster from years ago, where they're seen dancing in a video, versus other people who were actively, I suppose, flying around with this monster.
The authorities here in the US are acutely aware of the questions being asked about the death of a man who had links to some of America's most influential people. It's why the FBI are investigating, something that's extremely unusual in the case of an apparent suicide. And while Epstein's victims know he won't now face trial, they're pushing for inquiries to be widened to look at the actions of his associates. Among his many famous friends was Prince Andrew. In recently released court documents, he's been accused of groping a girl at Epstein's mansion, an allegation that Buckingham Palace has called categorically untrue. But the death of Jeffrey Epstein will not end the calls for greater scrutiny of what did happen at some of his notorious parties. Chris Buckler, BBC News, Washington.